You
Yeah.
have to keep hammering. You have to stay hard. And yes, it's just pain. And if you can use those things for anything, you're literally indestructible. Over the years, that's what I've built. And I had to remind myself, like, hey, this is what you got right now. And this is where you put everything you've done to the test. Because all of that was for a reason. And it was probably to build me up for this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are hearing this, you have once again tuned in the Consequence of Habit podcast. This is your host, JT. Hey, before we get this episode started, I need to let you know that March 23rd, we are kicking off the next Consequence of Habit Mastering Habits course that we are teaching on the Praxis platform. This has been created in conjunction with Chris Norris, cognitive fitness coach, also COH board member. And this is, I think, our fifth iteration of this, and I'm extremely, extremely proud of what we put together. People ask me, I said this on a video the other day, people ask me, how do I make positive changes to my habits? How do I stop doing this thing I don't want to do, or maybe pick up some positive habits? And the two things that always come to mind are having a system, right? Not just relying on motivation, but having a proven system. And that's what this course is. This is based in behavioral science. And the second thing is community. And thanks to the Praxis platform, we're able to bring a group of people together that are trying to make these same changes in their lives, and kind of hold each other accountable and support each other along the way. So if you're interested in that, you can see we got something in the bio on our Instagram, but I would say head on over to consequenceofhabit.org where you're going to see your registration for that course. We still have a couple spots left. Next, this week I sat down with Janina Simmons. This is one of those conversations where the more I learned about the guest, the more I knew I had to get her on the show. She showed up at Spike Camp, and I knew nothing about her beforehand, but just through some of the posts and what other people were saying about her, I mean, I had to pull some strings and get an intro, and really excited to get her on. Janina's she's made history, right? She's the first Black female graduate of Army Ranger School. She's an ultra runner. She's somebody who talks about discipline over motivation, about self respect, and about earning your place and the little things that you do on a daily basis. But this conversation, it gets deeper than just running and performance and what she did in the Army. Back in 2023, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And instead of kind of shrinking away and disappearing, she got even more intentional about how she lives her life. We talk about identity, stoicism, faith, boundaries, purpose, and what happens when life forces you to stop wasting time. Janine's story is extreme, but the lessons that she speaks about are incredibly human and indicative to us all. So, also, speaking of human, before we get into the episode, I also want to let you know that there's a new mini episode I recorded the other day. It's short, but it covers AI work and the habits that matter even more as technology starts to change our jobs slash purpose and identity. So head on over to our YouTube channel, search Consequence of Habit. You can check that out. All right. Without further ado, please welcome to the podcast, Janina Simmons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Today I am sitting down with Janina Simmons. Janina, thanks for doing this.
No problem. I'm super pumped.
So I came across you, one Jody and Taylor Spike. You were around those guys for Spike Camp. What was that, about 3 weeks ago now? All of them had just amazing things to say about you, your story. So I started looking in a little bit. I'm like, good God, man, if we're going to talk habits, then we got to get Janina on here to tell her story,
Absolutely.
and not just the things that you do physically, because we're gonna talk about that, but really the mental side of everything as well. We'll get into some stoicism. I know you're a bit of a stoic
I
yourself, so
love stoicism.
I
Yes.
let's start off with Spike Camp though. How did that whole thing come to be? Because you're in El Paso, Texas, right now, which
Right.
is
Right.
still a decent distance from Eugene, Oregon. Uh, how
Yep.
did how did that whole thing come to be?
Yeah, so I was on social media scrolling one day. This was months ago, and I'm Cam Hanes' number one fan, and I'm, just going through his story, and I saw this thing called Spike Camp. And it just, all I read was Spike Camp and something about like 12 hours. So I was like, what is that? So I clicked on it, went on the link, went on the webpage, and I saw it. And I love doing things I haven't done before. We continuously run marathons and ultras, but I love doing something I haven't done before. I've done a 12-hour race, but I knew it was on the mountain where Cam always runs. I've never done a 12-hour race on a mountain, so I was like, "Hey, that sounds like it sucks, so that's exactly where I need to be." So I signed up. I actually kind of forgot about it because this was months ago. And then in January, went to Spike Camp. I did CIM in December, so I don't have a hamstring injury. It's like a phantom pain. It's like a
Mm,
1 out of 10, but it's just there. So I haven't really been running, but I was like, "You know what? Let me just ruck." Cause me, I could never just walk. I was just gonna walk it, but I was like, "Nah, we're not just gonna walk up a mountain. That's not me."
right.
Um, so I booked my stuff to Oregon. So originally I'm from Washington State.
Okay.
So knowing I was gonna be close to there, because I love green and just, I'm an outdoors kind of person. So it was just an opportunity to one, go somewhere I haven't been and just explore. I love, watching Cam up and down the mountain at the monument. So I just wanted to check it out. And then that's how I ended up at Spike Camp. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something special going on at that mountain, huh? I mean, I
It's
haven't been
something.
I haven't been, but everyone,
You have to go.
I know, everyone I've talked to,
You have to go.
the people that I'm in contact with, first of all, as you know, this is the 2nd year for Spike Camp, and, uh,
Yep.
we had some people go and some ambassadors and, for Consequence of Habit, and then people just follow us, and they're like, "I'm telling you, there is something special about what's going on at this thing."
And I 100% agree. I don't know what it is. 12 hours felt like it was 2 hours. Like,
Mm,
I'm genuinely, because I mean, the mountain is awful. Awful as in it's hard.
mm,
So 1.5 miles straight up. There is no, "Hey, give it." It's straight up and then it's straight down. So which is very taxing on your legs either way. But I don't know how to explain it, it's, like, magical, and
mm,
it obviously, it had to be the people as well. I mean, everybody was so supportive every time we came down or going up, you see the same faces, you're all doing the same thing, and then on the top, the view was gorgeous. The first time
yeah.
we went up there, it was still nighttime, but there were, like, these clouds hovering. It was gorgeous. There's something magical about that mountain, so I'm really glad I went, it was awesome.
Yeah, and I saw you with the ruck, and I obviously I didn't know you had an injury, but I was thinking, I'm like, "Man, this woman's rucking this?" I mean, because everyone I've
It
talked to
was
a lot.
yeah.
I
It
think
it was a lot. It was a lot,
I think Taylor's exact words was when I told him that you were coming on, he's like, "Oh, she's an absolute beast." So, and that's coming from Taylor Spike, which, holds a lot of
and
weight.
I appreciate that. When a beast calls you a beast, that's when you know you're a beast.
What drew you Cam Haynes and his son and what they're doing?
Yeah, so years ago, I'm in the army, I'm went to ranger school and everything. Once you do things of that nature, specifically as a woman, I don't wanna make this a male woman thing, but as a woman, I don't have a lot of women to look up to in the sense who are just, and I mean this in the most respectful way, crazy. Like when I do something, it's like, what's next? And it has to be harder. Not to outdo anybody, but just to squeeze out those limits you have with the life that you have. So obviously found David Goggins, read his book, avid David Goggins fan. So I finally was like, "Oh wow, this person understands crazy, but to him it's not crazy." And then through him, I've found Cam. Cam years ago got me into running because when I found I wasn't into running that much, but I was a drill sergeant at the time. I would run here and there. I would dibble a dabble like 3 to 5 miles. And then I found out about this crazy person who runs a marathon every day. And this is before the running influencing and now everybody's clocking 100-mile weeks and stuff. Like it was very like, wow, who is this guy? So I got into him, I looked him up on YouTube and stuff like that. So I was just like, whoa, this is a person that has the same mindset. Completely different. I'm not a bow hunter, not like that, but same mindset. So I was like, hey, if he can do that, I'm not gonna run a marathon today, but I my work ethic needs to level up. And I thought I was pretty high, but he made me level up my work ethic. And then, and now about a year ago, number one Truett Haynes fan, because he made me level up my weekly mileage. So you continuously find these outliers who remind you that, hey, you're doing a lot, but you can do a little bit more. But what I love about them, because we all love, carry the boats and keep hammering and all these things. what I love about all of them is that they're just good people from what I can tell. Um, everybody with David Goggins gets caught up in who's going to carry the boats, but when I see him on stage, I see this awesome human being that loves his mom, take care of his family. That's what I see. And he's very humble. People don't think he is, but he's very humble, even though he doesn't have to be. And that's the same with Cam and Truett and all these guys. They're just good people. There's nothing cocky about them. If you find them cocky, that's because your work ethic is down here and what they're doing makes you so mad about what you're not doing. Um, so I just it's hard to find people where I'm at. That's why I don't hang around with people and I work out with people because the mindset is completely it's just I haven't never met anybody, so that's what drew me to them for
Yeah,
sure.
that makes sense. Have you ever met Nick Lavery? Nick Lavery before? Do you know who
I
Nick
have
is?
not, but yes, 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 yes. He's a special forces guy, right?
Yeah, lost his leg in Afghanistan.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. I looked him up. I think I follow him on Instagram. He's awesome.
Okay.
I watched one of his seminars. Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Well, the reason I bring him up, well, one, we've had him come and speak at two of our events, and then the other, he when you say somebody's crazy, and he talks about the process of he decides he's going to go back on an active team, but he's an above the knee amputee, and he goes, it was insanity, meaning like everything he did was focused around this thing, and everything else in his life had to kind of take a back seat. And he goes, I
Just
don't know.
obsessed. Yep.
Yeah, obsessed. Obsessed is the perfect word.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's healthy,
Mhm.
but it's what was required at the time, which
Right.
and also to your point, he's the guy when people have gone through these things and they've done it, there's no the cockiness goes away. Just because you almost
It goes away.
I was at a fight, one of my, good friends and a guy who's an ambassador for us was doing a bare knuckle fight. This was his 3rd one. And I've been around fighters, like, the guys that are really good, man, they're some of the nicest people. Like, this guy hugs me. I just he's
Absolutely.
and
Right.
like, 'cause
Mhm.
he doesn't need all of that other stuff that goes along with,
Right.
the ego. So,
Right. Right, right.
alright, so when I was doing research into your story, there's a couple things that really stood out. First was I saw in uniform and you had a ranger tab, and I'm like, "Oh, man, alright, so we're gonna get into that." Um, but when I listen to you on other podcasts, usually when I talk to somebody that's achieved these things, this started very early in their life. This idea of doing hard things and being uncomfortable. That's not your story. To me, that's really like so explain this because from where you started, I mean, I guess we can fast forward to let's say high school, and then to in a very not a super short, but a pretty short period of time. There's a massive physical and mental transformation that goes on. So, explain how somebody who doesn't play sports or is into anything, and really doesn't have any hobbies, going into the army ends up being the first black female to go through Army Ranger School, drill sergeant, aerosol. Well, I'm going in the wrong order here, but really being a
Oh, that's all
trendsetter,
good. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just knocking some doors down. So you could start walking us through that.
Yeah, so I was, grew up in Germany. I played basketball on an all-male team, but I was no good, but I did something.
Were you military
Zero
brat?
ambition. I didn't so my dad was in the army, and my dad and my mom met in Germany, but they split when I was, like, 1.
Okay.
So I always lived with my mom outside of an installation, so just in
Yeah.
Germany. Um, but yeah, I never 0 ambition, 0 interest in anything. I remember going to school, coming home. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't do drugs and do all these crazy things, but I did nothing. I was just I could like to call it just like meh, just like bleh.
Yeah.
So then I moved to the States around 17. Went to high school. I played basketball again, but I was comfortable genuinely with just I just wanted to be on the bench.
Mm.
Um, I didn't want to get out there. I didn't want to train. I don't wanna say fat, but I weigh 145 right now, I was 195.
Mhm.
So, I was bigger. I did nothing, didn't study, I wasn't into academics, I wasn't into sports, I was just there. Then after high school, my dad was like, "Hey, so what are you gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to college for what? Oh, psychology." So that whole first year, I just skipped class. I was in college, but I just
Right.
skipped class the whole year. So the $5,000 check came. My dad was like, "You're gonna do something." He could afford it, but he's not gonna just coincide that. So he was like, "Hey, join the army." And I never thought about it before because when you hear army at a young age, and at that time it was 2010, 2009, 2010. When somebody like me hears army, I hear deployment, I hear death.
But yeah, you hear
I'm just
war.
keeping it real. I didn't war. That's all you
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
And as a young woman, it's like me go to war, like what?
Yeah.
So, but then I heard that you get educational benefits and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'll go for 4 years, pay for college, and I'll figure it out. Um, so I joined, and when I joined, I didn't know, so I never so my mom, she had some mental health issues. So she, I would argue, was her job, she had me and my sister. She was a single mom. But her job, she was really taking care of herself.
Mm.
So there wasn't a lot of there was "I love you." She's the "I love you" one, and my dad is the less emotional, but he's there. But there's no pats on the back, there's no "Go to the basketball game," there's no "I'm gonna pick you up from here and none of that. None of it. It's figure it out on your own, and that's all you got, because she's worried about her stuff. And then the same when I went to the States. My dad is always working, so he doesn't, no pats, no go run track or do anything like that. So when I joined the army, that was the first time in my life where there was structure. Hey, wake up at this time, you're going to do PT, you're going to study, you're going to do whatever. And I loved it. I didn't know that's what I was missing.
Yeah.
And I was good at it. And I wasn't stand out in basic, but I was good at it. We did our little physical fitness test and I did okay. So I was like, I like this. So after basic training, you go to advanced individual training. That's where you learn your job. So basic is for everyone, and then you branch off. So when I branched off, because I remember in basic training, there was this girl, and she got the high physical fitness award. She was the best. And I wasn't there, but I was somewhat close. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to close the gap. I don't know what that means, but let me just try to close the gap because I want to be the best at something. Like that
Uh,
kind of hurt my feelings.
as I say, it pissed you
Even
off.
though I didn't earn it, I didn't deserve it, but it pissed me off. I was like, "Hey, I like the army. For the first time in my life, I feel like something fits. I wanna be the best. Like, why not me?" So I went to AIT and I was like, "You know what? You're gonna try. Just try." Didn't I had no idea about running, I knew nothing about nothing. So I showed up there, and it started with the curriculum. Where everybody was going out or sleeping or whatever, I studied. And then where everybody was doing whatever, I was just doing push-ups in my room, and I would go, like, outside around the track and just run. Don't talk to me about zone training and all this. Just go do the act, perform the act. So after 10 weeks, I graduated honors for academics, and I got the high PT.
I'm
And what
sorry.
that did for me is
What was your job?
uh-huh.
Sorry to cut you off. What you said you went to AIT?
So
What?
so I'm a 14 Tango, so that's a have you heard about Patriot?
Mhm.
The Patriot missile systems? Yep, everything that's in the Middle East. It's really early defense. So we're not on the offensive, we're more on the defensive, but that's kind of my job. I operate the systems, we lower, raise them, make sure the missiles are locked and stuff like that. So that was my job. Very, very technical. So that's what I went to school for. So I came out on the honors and I got the high PT. And that was the catalyst. I was like, oh wow. So still didn't know what I was doing, but what I knew was, hey, if I outwork everybody, I could actually not even just be my best, I could be the best.
The
And after
best.
that, I never looked back. After that, it was like never in competition with anybody because I don't like that. But it was like, hey, perform, outwork, boom, boom, boom. And I became a master planner. I became a master, hey, nobody wants, because I would always ask people for help and they never wanted to help me. It's funny that even, now we're here like, oh, you made history. Even till now, I was just always the underdog. No matter what I did, no matter what I accomplished, people still didn't believe. But when I built that work ethic, I didn't need them anymore. I just needed me. And it became an obsession with greatness.
Mm.
That's why I am the way I am now. So way back to your first question, I think the reason I am obsessive, and I'm always like, what's next? And I challenge myself so hard is because I never want to go back to where I was and adulthood, high school. At those times when you walk into a room, you're that person everybody just looks at and is just like, ugh, and this is a nobody, and they wave you off. When I was in Germany, me and my sister were the only black kids, so I always got bullied and stuff. And that's not a good feeling. But at the time, that's who I was. But now when with AIT, I was like, "Oh, you're never gonna do that to me again." And if I have to work, work, work to be the best, as in you're always gonna have haters, but when you're the best, when you're undeniable, you can't deny the work. You can't deny the receipts. I earn my place in that room now, and that's what I started years ago. I was like, "Hey, when I'm in the room, you're not gonna bully me anymore. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, I don't care about your rank. I don't care about any of that." So that's why that work ethic, when people talk about motivation, I was like, "I haven't been motivated in years. It's on automatic
Mm,
because every day I wanna earn my spot in the room. Every day I'm like, 'Alright, Janina, get up,' because, if you sit in front of Cam Haines one day, you never know what's coming, so you just gotta be ready, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'll always let my work speak for itself. Graduating Ranger School, a lot of men like, "Oh," and they push women through and they gave it to them, and that's fine, I don't care about that, but it's like, no, that was in 2019. I've done so many things since 2019. It's undeniable. You can say whatever you wanna say about Ranger School. It's not like, after Ranger School, I just got fat. No, I'm actually killing the game the older I get. It's like, you succeed, but then you continue to dominate, and that's what I tell a lot of people. Doing one thing and being, great or winning something, that's fine, but when you're at the top and you stay at the top for years, that's when it's truly like, "Oh, wow, who is this?" Um, so
There's
that's kinda my drive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm always impressed too when people's ceilings are high enough to even where they even see themselves completing things, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of times people, they go, "Oh, that's not for me." So yeah, it's just not even. It doesn't even seem like it's on their radar to be able to do it. Uh, and
Right.
it- was that systematic? It was it like, oh, all right, so this worked out. Maybe I can go now. Now I can level up because, I mean, a lot of people, they suffer from imposter syndrome. They just go, "Hey, eh, I was a kid that didn't do anything. I played basketball."
Right. Right.
So what was I mean, was that part of it? How did imposter syndrome play into your own experiences? Did it? Uh,
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big imposter syndrome person. Ranger school, that one was hard because, all the things that I've done. And then I went to Ranger School out of complacency because I was like, "Hey, I've done all these things." I was still young in my career, and it's like, "Well, what do you do now?" Like, you can't just, sit on your laurels. And that one was hard because I was like, "Hey, if I go to Ranger School and I do fail, everything that I have done, now everybody can be like, 'See, I told you this, this.'" So there's a lot of courage involved. And there was a lot of imposter syndrome. And I've had that. But the way to mitigate imposter syndrome is actually to do the work and remind yourself of those wins. Because it's undeniable. If you won one time, maybe you got lucky, but you're not going to get lucky at
right.
every school, no matter who's competing. It could be men, women, and you're always number one. That's like, no, you did that. Like, you have to remind yourself. The hardest time was really, it should have been basic training because I didn't have any receipts. I had
Yeah,
negative receipts
yeah. You had
of
no
how
credit.
bad I was. No credit. But then once you go to basic, AIT, and you have all these receipts, you're going to find one for a rainy day. And I gathered all those for Ranger School. And after Ranger School, and there were still certain instances where I have imposter syndrome, but ever so faint. It's just
Mm,
like a little whisper. And then you're like, no, you're not. And so you have to work on that. I think that's an everyday thing. But that's another reason why I just grind because I have to keep reminding myself, like, hey, you did this, now you can do this, and then you just always tack on to what you've done. Like, even now I'm writing my book, I have followers, the stories like, "Oh my god, she's a first." Even now I'm like, "You know what? 2 people are gonna buy my book." I still have that like,
really?
but you really didn't do anything, like, why would somebody wanna read your book? And then I have to be like, "No." I'm not sure somebody's done this, 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 and you kinda have to walk the dog back. Um,
Yeah, if you stop
sometimes
and look back, I'm
right,
sure you're like, "Oh, you know
yeah,
what? There's a lot to be proud of," but, maybe in
right,
the moment when you're grinding it, you you're forward facing, right? And you're not looking back and going, "Hey,"
right,
uh,
right.
so I imagine
I th
that's gotta be
I
difficult.
I think a lot of it comes from a fear of failure. A big thing that held me back from ranger school was just the fear of failure, but it's like, there's no such thing as failure. Either you're learning or you're not. Like, so to me too, go out on those big hopes and dreams that take so much courage. Because if you fail, it's up to the, and who's looking at it as failure. Because I would never look at it as failure. I so everybody's always predicated of what others are gonna think. That's really, if we truly look at it, because if I go and say, "Hey, I'm gonna go on a 10-mile run," and nobody knows, and I go on the 10-mile run and I made it to 7 miles, nobody cares. There's no fear of failure.
Sure.
I just didn't run 10 miles. Nobody's gonna know, there's no pressure. But if it's in the outskirts and people know about it, that's when that fear, not of failure, but what are others gonna say? Um, if you can get rid of that and just not give a crap about what other people are gonna say, and that's where I'm at now, and it took me some years, and that's where, I always ask myself, so before Ranger School, I said, because I think at the time, 20 some, I think I was number 30. I said, if I'm on my deathbed, and I knew I was good, don't get me wrong. I had a little imposter syndrome, but I knew if I toe the line with anybody, I'm one of the best just because I put in so much work. But I said, if you're gonna ever be on your deathbed and all these women, and not that they're not great, but if all these women go through and they get ranger tabs and you don't, what are you doing? Like, what was all this for? Because that's the pinnacle. You can't, like, there's no way you're gonna be pissed off. And I just said, you know what, you gotta send it. Because what if you do pass? I
Yeah,
said, "What if you do pass?" And I knew it was gonna change my life. And not so for the, "Oh, she was the first," or whatever thing, but what it did in my mental space.
oh, I'm sure.
Now, you you can't tell me nothing. Not like, "Oh, I'm the best," or not like that, but now it's like that unbreakable mindset. Like, if you're like, "Hey, let's go on a 200-mile run, no training," I'll be like, "Let's go." It's just different. Now I'm just wired differently. No f n not no fear, but limited fear, and just I think every day I work and everything is building self-belief. And I think self-belief can eradicate imposter syndrome, and it can do a lot of things for you. So my self-belief, if Anna wants it, she's gonna go get it. I.e., right now, and I have zero experience in politics. I have zero interest in politics. But right now, if I tell you, you know what, I want to be the president of the United States, I'll go do it. I promise you I'll go do it. I don't know how, but I'll figure out a way. I'll study, I'll go get the degree, I'll do whatever it takes. That's how my brain is wired because you have to continuously build that self-belief. You can only do that by doing very, very hard things. If you do what's easy, you're not building self-belief. If anybody can do what you do, that's not gonna really encourage you to level up. But when you do the things that nobody can do, or a limited amount of people, or you're like, "Oh, wow, like, I'm in uncharted territory, like, maybe I am badass," and then you just keep building belief, keep capturing receipts, and then that's kinda how you just boop, 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 you just
Yeah.
climb the tree.
Yeah, I look at habits, specifically the positive ones as
Mhm.
these little contracts you build with yourself. Because when you
Yes.
say, "I'm gonna do something," and then you don't do it, well,
Mhm.
that's a contract you just broke. And the whole idea around what we're doing is for you to trust yourself when you say you're going to do it.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, you know whether, to your point on the 10 miles, whether somebody was watching or not, you know whether you did it or you didn't do it, regardless what social
Yes.
media says, regardless of your followers, your likes, you you know how you feel about yourself. So it sounds like you've fulfilled so many of those contracts and that you just have nothing but confidence in whatever your endeavor you're going to take on.
I think that I love what you just said. That's a big form to me of self-respect. This is how I
Mhm.
explain it to people. Let's say I'm your boss, right? I say, "Hey, tomorrow you have to be at work at 3 because we need these extra hours to set up something." And you're like, "Man, 3 o'clock. all right, boss, I'll be there. You're going to show up because it's your job. You're
Yeah.
going to be there because I said so. This random person, your boss told you. Now, if you say on Friday, you're like, all right, I'm going to set the alarm for 3. I got to go on a 20-mile run because I'm training for whatever, for your self betterment. You said you're going to wake up at 3. You're going to hit snooze and you're going to wake up at 5 and be like, "Ah." So because I said show up at 3, you're going to show up at 3. But when you tell yourself to show up at 3, you're quick to hit snooze. That's what a lot of people do. And that is a problem. No self respect. And you just people don't value themselves like they value other people, and I think that is a big thing that's wrong with today's society. There's no way I tell you to show up at 3 and you show up at 3. You tell yourself to wake up, but people don't see it that way. "Oh, well, I just hit snooze," and but it's that little thing that can cause just this gigantic movement in your life. Because I stopped hitting snooze a long time ago because before anybody, I value myself. What do I need? And I respect myself enough to know, like, hey, you need to do this. This is what it takes. This is what it's going to do.
It's a way of framing it too, right? So when you look at it as a self-respect, you're doing yourself a favor by following through instead of going, I'm doing myself
Yes.
a short-term
Yes.
favor by hitting snooze, giving that to myself.
Exactly. For
It's
that little comfort.
for a
Right.
little bit of comfort. And we all know that when we
Mhm.
chase these little comforts, these little hits of dopamine, whatever it is, it causes long-term suffering in one form or another, right? I mean,
100%.
I know.
100%.
Yeah, that's I mean,
100%.
even when I quit drinking, that was you have to think of it as, "Hey, I'm actually being so kind to myself by not doing this thing that inherently my body's telling me to do." And I
100%.
yeah, man, I love that mindset. I think it's again, to your point, I think it's hard to keep that on the forefront of your mind, but surrounding yourself by people that live that way. I literally just came from a peace. I was at this peace walk in Washington D.C. or actually Alexandria. There's these monks that just walked across from Texas. They
I
started
saw
off,
that. I heard about that.
so these guys walk 30 miles a day. And it is cold as shit out. Like yesterday, it was and they're walking in robes and, like, sandals, and, they 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 get up at 2 in the morning to meditate every day, and it sounds so miserable, but at the same time, it sounds so peaceful in the fact that they and
Discipline is freedom.
it is. It's the
It's a
freedom of it,
fact.
like, everyone's questioning, "How are these guys doing it?" And to them, they're not feeling sorry for themselves, that's how they're doing it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a it's far off from the way we're living overall as a society, and I do think,
So far off.
yeah, there definitely needs
So
to be
bad.
some changes. Uh,
Right.
how does your mindset let's see if you're cool with it, let's get into your diagnosis here a little bit. Um, well, I mean, you know what? I don't wanna misspeak on it, so why don't you kinda give us the breakdown on how you found out you were sick and what it is?
Yeah, so 2023, September, I found out. A few months prior, had these lumps on my groin about this big, size of a grape. My mom told me to go to the doctor. I was like, I feel great. I'm Ranger Simmons.
Right,
No
right.
problem. So I went. The lady was like, the doctor, she's like, hey, we'll check it out. They did the ultrasounds. I was referred to an army hospital and they're like, hey, you have these masses in your pelvic region. Um, they said most likely, because I knew nothing about cancer. I mean, again, when I hear cancer, somebody's dying. I
Yeah.
knew nothing about it. It's not close in my family or anything. So they told me, "Hey, it's a sarcoma. We can't treat this here. We're gonna have to refer you off post." So before that, the doctor came into my office. She's like, "Hey, we're gonna have to look at it. You have some masses." When she said that, I was really not listening to her. Like, I heard her, but I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, "Oh," because it wasn't registering in my mind. So then I went to the doctor, sarcoma. So now I'm on Google and I read sarcoma, very aggressive, you're dying. So that's the first time when I was like, "Oh, wow, this is very real." So they referred me off post. We did the biopsy. Come to find out it's neuroendocrine cancer. Never heard of that. It's one of the rarest cancers they have.
Wow.
Um, it's stage 4 meaning it's everywhere, predominantly in the pelvic region, the bigger masses. So what they told me is like, hey, it's slow growing. It is stage 4, but it's slow growing. You have to get this monthly injection. It's not going to kill the cancer, but it's going to contain it because it's non-curable. We still don't know where the source is. Just take this and kinda you'll be fine. So in my mind, roger that. This is after. When I actually got the diagnosis, woe was me for a few days. I'm not gonna lie, obviously.
Oh, you're human.
Um, oh, woe was me, and we can circle back, but I'll give you the quick rundown. Um, so then I came to El Paso for the Sergeant Major's Academy. I had to get a new doctor, new scans. So all of a sudden, it's in my bones, so in my rib cage and in my lungs. So now I'm like, oh wow, I'm really dying. So I had to go. They were like, hey, you immediately need to have radiation therapy. Radiation more so. So radiation is targeted. It targets all the tumors. Chemotherapy, it targets your whole body. So I had 4 rounds of that, 8 weeks apart, and I finished that in April of 2025. It shrunk the cancer a little bit, tiny little bit, and it contained it. I still have to get my monthly injections for the rest of my life, and I have to get follow-ups every 6 months. Um, so that's kind of that. So when you talk about mindset, so 2023, I am who I am, Ranger, first sergeant, all the things. When she called me and she said, it's stage 4, this and that and the third, and I researched after that, not Google or Wikipedia, I read all the reports and stuff, and, I read that if you make it to 72 months, you're a rare breed, and it's highly unlikely. So when I did the math, I was like, that's devastating. Because even if I'm this fortunate person to make it to 72 months. At the time, I was 33. I'm 36 right now. So it's like, I'm going to celebrate 72 months. Or like, what is the new metric? Like, oh, yay, 72 months. But it's like, I'm not even going to be 40 barely.
Yeah.
So that when I find out, I mean, I broke down um, that whole week, it was like, why do you do anything anymore? Like, what are you chasing? I'm going to stop working out because what's the point, right? I went through all those emotions. And then one day, because I don't like being like that, I already told you I don't like going back to that high school phase of "Ugh," and just this ugh, this how do I say that? I had no mental nothing, no mental strength. I don't want to go back there again. So I was like, hey, what is actually physically wrong with you right now? I had to, self reflect. And I was like, man, nothing. If you wouldn't told me that I had it, I wouldn't know. So I was like, okay. So if you're okay, the cancer diagnosis really just messed with your mind for
Mm.
now. It's all up here. You're anxious, you're this, you're that. But physically, or my habits, nothing has to change. So I was like, you know what? The next day, 20-mile run, and I was able to creep back into who I was. And it's hard. Every day, you have this backpack of it's just heavy, and it's never gonna go away. Even when I'm running, I'm running, I'm rucking, I'm doing all these things to keep my mind just far, far away from the thoughts, but they just creep in. I
Sure.
can, hey, I just ran, let me watch Netflix. I can put on whatever show I want. I promise you, somebody's gonna bring up cancer. Now I'm attuned to it. Now I'm like, oh wow, this has been my life, but I never paid attention to it because I
Yeah.
didn't have it or nobody in my family had it. So I had to ask myself for the past few years, as we talk about habits, I'm a creature of habit. I've been doing these things for so long, why would I stop now? There's so much motivation. One, I can do it, I'm gonna do it. Two, and I thought about this, when my trifecta, David, Cam, and Truett, they're stay hard, keep hammering, and it's just pain. And this is what I will tell anybody. When do those mantras actually apply? Do they apply when we're working out or when you're going through things? What do you tell the person who has cancer? What do you tell the person who lost a child? What do you tell the person who was raped? Do those mantras still apply? I say, Janina says, yes, if you are a champion, they still apply. If you're just a regular human being, they no longer apply and you can use whatever you're going through as an excuse. I think that is the separator. I'm not saying don't grieve. I'm not saying don't cry. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying overall, they still apply. You
Yeah.
have to keep hammering. You have to stay hard. And yes, it's just pain. And if you can use those things for anything, you're literally indestructible. And that's what, over the years, that's what I've built. And I had to remind myself, like, hey, um, this is what you got right now. And, this is where you put everything you've done to the test. Um, because all of that was for a reason, and it was probably to build me up for this because I'm handling it, you know, honestly, some days I forget. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't think the diagnosis is for me personally. I think it's for somebody else.
Really?
Um, I do believe that 100%, 1000 million percent. How do I say this? I'm going to get a little preachy. I apologize if somebody is not faithful, but that's all me. God is in order to level you up, you have to go through things. You're only gonna grow through hard times. There's no hard time you've been through where you came out and you're like, "Well, didn't learn anything from that."
Yeah.
But you learned something from sitting on the couch. Absolutely not. The times where you grew the most, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is when you just went through a time where you didn't think you could get out. And in order to continuously level up, you have to go through things. And with the cancer, who else was he supposed to give it to? I'm not sure he could have given it to a lot of people who would handle it like me and make it kind of like a Uno reverse and be like, "Oh wow, now I have cancer. Now I can speak to millions of more people and push out the message." Because prior to, it was just Ranger Simmons. She's just this fool person. I could never be like that. And it's like, oh no, I have cancer. I'm like all the people over here. So if I can do it, and get over whatever I'm going through, you can too. So he really just broadened the audience. Because I don't think it's for me. I truly don't. And that is another reason why I'm so big on doing what I was doing before. My purpose in life, truly what I believe, is to help people find their purpose. Um, and yeah, that's my purpose. So what I mean by that is when we pray or whatever we do, we God and it doesn't have to be materialistic. It could be, God help me, give me more grace, give me more courage, stuff like that. We're always asking, gimme, 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 gimme. Everybody does, and we're human. That's okay. Ask and you shall receive. What does God ask us for? Nothing. Just to trust him. Nothing. Nothing. He never wants anything in return. He's going to keep getting you through all the trials and tribulations. He just wants you to trust him. I find it unfair to be faithful in the good times and not in the bad times.
Mm.
So I'm like, hey, if this is what you have right now, you still have to act like before you got cancer. Um,
Eh,
and
has there
that's
been a
kind
different
of where I'm at.
has there been a different wisdom that it's brought to you? And the reason I ask is one of my good friends who's one of the I'm in federal law enforcement with him, and he's one of the fittest guys I've ever met in my life. Just an absolute beast, and he was diagnosed with ALS. And yeah, you want to talk about stoicism. I mean, the idea that we're all going to die, and he's got this mantra called 0 days to waste. Now, and not in a way where you're going to go out and like blow all your money and do all the fun.
Right. Just make it rain.
Yeah, and yeah, in a way that he soaks in, as much as he can in life because it's limited, and the reality is it's limited for us all, right? We don't know. Nobody knows. You get an that's right, an asteroid could hit us tomorrow, so but what he does say, there's been a wisdom that comes with knowing that you're dying that is very hard to have unless you have a reminder, like a diagnosis. Like he has. So, eh, what type of introspective stuff has kind of gone on in your own head with this? This is gonna be a two-part question with this diagnosis, and then the second part you talk about uh, this opening up a whole new audience. Uh, how do you communicate your message in a way that people can relate to without them going, "Wow, she's doing all this stuff. This isn't again, this isn't me." Had those people that have that imposter syndrome, how do you connect with those people and say, "Hey, no, this is for you. It's for everybody. This is a mindset that you can incorporate."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the connecting part, it's hard, but the best way I know to connect with people, you have to be yourself. You're not going to be for everybody. I'm not going to be for everybody. So when you see me on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, I'm so authentic. And if you like it, you're gonna follow me. And if you don't and like, hey, she's too much, then unfollow. I can't cater to
Right, right.
certain groups because I am very upfront.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out to me the other day and she said, "Hey, Sergeant Major, I just got diagnosed with breast cancer. How do you have the willpower to keep working out?" And I try to respond to a lot of people, and I try to be nice, but at the same time, I told her I was like, either you do or you don't.
Mm,
In a way that you can either get up and deal with it or you don't. There's no magic potion, there's no nothing. There's no motivation I can give you. I don't know your why. My why could be, I don't know, I want to stay here for my dogs. Just an example. You might not have dogs. I don't know your why. So it's like either you do or either you don't. If you don't, it's going to make everything worse. If I start falling off now, stop working out, probably going to get fat. Now it's going to mess with my mental. You're going to get worse. You are never in life staying the same. There's no equilibrium. This second, every second that passes, you're never here. You're doing this. So either you're going to move forward or you're going to move backward. If you move backward, you have to pick up the slack just to move forward again. And that's 10 times harder than just kind of keeping a little shuffle and moving forward. That's just kind of my philosophy. So I get the message out. I'm very authentic. I share everything. I try to share everything. I try to share the good. I went on a run. I was great today. I'm fighting my demons. And then the other day I shared how I broke down because I wanted to do red light therapy after spike camp, and I was unpacking it, and then I read the instructions. It said, "Hey, if you have metastatic cancer, this and this, do not use because it can, and I broke down. I was like, shit, that's me. They're talking about me.
yeah.
I was just this person in spy camp who was like Ranger Simmons again, and I forgot. And then I'm reminded by red light therapy, like, oh, this is your life. You like it just hits you, and you have those waves of emotion. I shared that because a lot of people, everybody thinks they're the only one going through something. You
Yes,
know what I'm
yes.
saying? And that's that's not
Well
true.
well, I think
So what's
I
up?
I I think that's one of the, what's the right words? One of the issues with social media. I'll say this. I commend the fact that you're vulnerable enough to do that because there
Oh,
is this thing
100%.
there's this thing about, like, whatever somebody's motto is, if they if somebody doesn't seem or aren't relatable as a human to other people, it can create a wall, right? So I'm all for the mantras like go hard, keep hammering all of these things. At the same time, being human enough to go, oh man, this red light therapy, it reminded me that I have this, and that hurts. I feel that right now. 'Cause that's reality. It's part of the human experience, right? Um, yeah. Hmm.
I forgot the first part of your question. I know that was the second part. What was the first part of your question?
The wisdom that's come along with a diagnosis like this, what
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, what type of introspective things have gone through your head and or things that maybe kinda stick out?
So I think, contrary to popular belief, I think I almost have like a unfair advantage
Mm.
for regular people. When I say that, I mean I no longer tolerate a lot of things. I don't. And I don't care. So old me probably, let's say we're talking and it's just not somebody I want to talk to. The conversation is, if it's something I don't like now, I'll just be like, I don't care. Like I won't reply. I won't answer the email. I won't reach out to the person anymore. There's so many boundaries now. It's because it's either you're wasting time or you're using it. There's
0
no,
days to
"Oh, I
waste.
got
Yeah.
0 days to waste." So if
Yeah.
I don't like you, I'm gonna let you know I don't like you. You can go that way, and it's not emotional, and I go this way. Fear of failure. There's no such thing as failure. Try it, live it. Go travel, go run the race in DNF, go, I don't know, shoot the this or do something you've never done and just go do it. There's no, oh, and all these thoughts. Because as humans, we all have these thoughts. So, oh, I got time to sign up for this. I'll do this later. I'm scared to do this. I really want to talk to that. It's gone. It's just free. If there's this sense of freedom where I don't care because guess what? When I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to remember that. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna remember this person. There's just such a freedom, and I do enjoy that. Um, because prior to, you wanna be very careful with people, and you entertain certain conversations, and you're just very, like and now it's just not. No, even with money, because I have money, but it's like, "Oh, I don't need to buy that." Now it's like, "No, if you want it, go buy it. You're
Go get
fine.
it.
Go
Yeah.
buy it, enjoy it, do whatever." It's because life is short, and like you said, we can all pass at whatever time, but mine now more so is if I truly have 5 more years left, what are you gonna do with it? You're not gonna waste your time over there. You're not gonna and contrary to popular belief, I love the things I do. People think that these ultra runners or these people who get up at 3 and they're working out, I actually love to do it. That is when I'm the happiest. If you told me right now, tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm dying, right? On everything that I love. In the morning, I'm waking up at 3 and I'm going to the gym and I'm going for a run. It doesn't there's no, "Oh, I'm" no, 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 no. You know what? I would probably be there probably from 6 to 2 p.m. just to get the last 8 hours in, and that's so genuine because that's what I do and that's what I love. There's no some of us who just constantly working out, yeah, we have goals, but at the same time, that's just what we love to do, what it does for your body, your mind, your spirit. So it's not like this forced thing where it's like, "Oh, I have to get up and do it," and some days is, but, yeah, with knowing, there comes a sense of freedom of just doing go have fun, go travel, go to spike camp for no reason, just go to Oregon for a few days, go do this, go do that, so I do kinda like that, so
What is everything you've done in the military and then the diagnosis, was it ever apparent to you that this was gonna be a motivator for others or that your mission in life was gonna be to help other people change their own lives? Or was this, "Hey, this is just what I'm doing, my career progression," and all of a sudden things, come to light, they morph into kind of where you are now, and, and I'm not blowing smoke here, I do think that
mhm. No, no,
within
no, no, no.
within a very short period of time, your story is gonna be out there to a lot more people. I mean, I don't know if you're going to Cam's, podcast or what, but
He
I
he said it on, Rachel's podcast, so
yeah,
I
then
I
it's
think I
happening.
am. I better
Then it's
be.
happening. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah,
Right.
hold them to it. So your story is gonna be out there to a whole lot of people, and I'm fortunate to
Yeah.
to get in on the ground floor here. But they do
No, absolutely.
did you ever was it ever in your wildest dreams that this well, I don't even say tragic because it's not to you, but this diagnosis
It's not.
would
Right.
amplify the things that you've
Mhm.
done and the mindset you have to bring it to so many other people.
Right. So, yeah, so before Ranger School, I was doing all these things, and then Ranger came. If you would ask anybody, I'm not this big buff, I don't look a certain way. When you think of Ranger, you think of and I never did that. I have tattoos. I'm black, so when I was in, company of certain peoples, they wouldn't think I'm the smartest. They didn't know I speak German fluently. They just never thought I was who I really was. So as I'm coming up in social media, people are like, "Oh, wow, she couldn't even run a mile when she joined. If that was her, it could be me. She couldn't do this. Now she" So that's my message. God will always use the most unlikely people to do those crazy things. So, and then with the diagnosis, because again, now I'm a ranger, so now I'm untouchable. Now these women are like, "Oh, I could never do that." Which, yes, you can. I just told you who I was and what I did. 100% you could with the right mindset. But yeah, so I kind of just when I used to so after that kind of and I'm up and coming, I prayed about it. I was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm able to help all these people because I get so many messages. Help me help more people. God, ho I wanna help more people." That was the prayer, because you wanna help more people, and guess what he did? He gives you cancer. I
Mm,
didn't ask for it. I wanted it to be however I wanted it to be, because 'cause we're human, right? We want
yeah.
it the way we want it, But when we asked for these things and he gave it to me, and it's like, "Oh, wow," like, because it opened up that platform. That cancer patient wasn't never gonna look at me. It's like, "Oh, this is Ranger Simmons. I have cancer," and it's like, "Oh, that's Ranger Simmons. She has cancer." So now you broke the ice, and now now they're gonna pick up my book and read and hopefully give them hope, or now, like I said, now the umbrella is just so wide because you have to be relatable. When people look at me and it's like, "Oh, she's the first and she's a ranger." If you're not physically fit, you will never look my way because it's like, "Oh, I can't do that." But now with the cancer, it almost makes me human.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, like I said earlier, who else was he gonna pick? Because and I'm not gonna say nobody, but it is very unlikely that you give somebody this diagnosis and they are doing what I'm doing. There's a lot of people who weren't doing what I was doing without it, so with it and I know there's I know some ultra runners, they have cancer. There's people out there doing great things, but he broadened the platform. He gave me what I asked for.
Mm.
And you can never be mad at that just because it wasn't my way. But if you look at your life, nothing ever goes your way. So you
Sure.
kind of just have to take it for what it's worth. And a lot of people write me, a lot of cancer patients, they write me. They say, "Hey, your story gives me hope, this and that and the third." And I love that because that's what it's. Now, are you going to use it? Are you still going to just stay on the couch and woe is me? Maybe. Are you gonna use it? Maybe. That's not under my control. My control is just to be the catalyst to let you know, even though you have this thing, you can move forward. That's my job. Are you gonna use it? I can't control that.
Mm. Yeah, that's that circle control thing, right? Going back to this, the stoicism.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
as far as the way you track habits, the way you decide what your habits are going to be, and the way you track them, do you have a very particular system, or is it just something? How do you set your goals? Is it weekly, monthly, quarterly? Like what does that look like?
I'm a big long-term goal setter. Big long I love long-term goals. I'm talking anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
Mm.
Those to me are like they're the most impactful. I'm a big long-term goal setter, and then when I do that, the micro goals just happen. Because like I told you earlier, I became a big planner. You can do anything if you just break it down. If I tell you right now, in a month you have to run 1,000 miles, just a random example, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, 1,000 miles!" But then when we sit down and we break it down into 4 weeks, it's only 250, and then we break it down, and you're like, "Oh, so per day," and that's just a random example, and that's what I love to do. So I don't wanna say every 1st of January I sit down. I'm kinda like a spur of the moment type of person. So, last year in the summertime, dealing with the diagnosis, like I told you, I don't have, I'm not I know my timeline, but then again, I don't have a fear of failure. I was like, "Hey, I wanna do 1 ultra, but 100 I've done 75." I was like, "100, that's just too easy. Let me just do 200." And I just signed up for Bigfoot and I got in. That's the type of time I want. So now all of a sudden I have this long-term goal. And then, I ran the marathon 3:03. I was like, "Oh, I don't even wanna go sub 3, I wanna go 2:45." There's another goal. So you kinda just place them, but the main thing is always the main thing. You're gonna wake up, you're gonna work out for whatever goal, you're gonna eat, you're gonna meal prep, you're gonna study, and that is just always the main thing. Now whatever goals you insert, or if something random like, "Oh, I wanna go do a spy camp," that's okay. Because really what that is if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready,
Mm.
like from 0 to 100. If you're always hovering at 75, you just have to adjust. So once I'm done with ultra, I'll adjust for a few months and go back into speed training. But right now, I'm recovering from the hammy injury, and then I'm just gonna do some slow mileage, build up the base, and then you're just really adjusting all year long. I think it's very important because a lot of people, they just have no purpose or no drive, or they just don't know anything. They just show up and kind of just dee and it's just really a waste of time. So if you can just funnel your goals or whatever you think you want to do, and a lot of it is purpose driven. I found out a long time ago, through running and all these things, I was able to build this platform, and that's how I can help people. Maybe somebody else is a doctor or a lawyer or a magician, whatever your thing is. I think, you just make those micro habits, turn them into goals, and throughout that, you can just help people, and that's how you live. I
Yeah.
if I die tomorrow, I could never be mad because I did what I wanted to do. I was able to help people. We're good. It's
Yeah, that
the
purpose
perfect life.
thing. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the purpose thing, I think, one of the reasons it's so important, even within the military community, right? That why so many veterans have struggled is they had this thing that they were part of, and now it's gone, and you don't have that ability to find your purpose. Modern society offers a million different ways to escape temporarily reality, right? And the more we do that, I believe it's the worse we become, and that's so. What has been your relationship with? I'll say, all right. So I even say this because this is even with consequence of habit, we have to dance with the devil. And when I say that, that I even mean social media. You know, you can take a guy like Cam who's got 1 million followers, and he's giving off this super positive message, but we're doing it even here at Consequence of Habit. Not I'm not telling you something you don't know. We don't have 1 million followers, but we use a platform that I believe can be really detrimental at the same time. Has that something you've thought about? Like I'm holding these 2 things at once?
I hate social media.
Okay,
I
alright.
genuinely, oh, I hated, years ago, I think before Ranger School, I had like 1,000 followers. Facebook now, I got like 60 some, Instagram 40, TikTok, whatever. Um, but it's part of the game. How else are you gonna get the message out? And that's my purpose. That is my purpose. How else am I gonna do it? And again, in what I told you with the imposter syndrome, all those things, I have receipts now, I'm fine. When I post something or somebody posts something about me, I mean, it's galore. DEI, so in the Army, they say DEI, like everything was handed diversity, equity, and inclusion. Hey, she just got it because she's a Black woman. No credentials, she just got it because she's a Black woman. And we can go down the line on the I mean,
I
thousands.
yeah,
You
I know how
uh-huh.
ugly the internet
You
is.
have to have yeah, you have to have thick skin, but that's why I was talking about the receipts. The reason I work so hard is because and I even write this sometimes, if any of them want the smoke, they can come to El Paso and we can do whatever they wanna do. And men, whoever wants to smoke, just come on over here today after my morning run, and you see what I'm saying? That's another form of motivation because I got a 5 million of them, but that is one. So you have to have thick skin and you have to remind yourself why you do what you do. We can focus on the 2 negative comments that I get per post and the thousands positive ones where I'm affecting change in somebody's life. And if that's what it takes for me to get a few negative comments, whatever. But honestly, social media is powerful. I mean, I found Cam Hanes through social media. Without him, I don't know if I'd be running right now. And running changed my life.
Yeah, I mean,
So it's powerful.
I heard you on a running podcast and,
Mhm.
talking about Cameron Hanes, and this is before Spike Camp, and then here you are, you go
Mhm.
Spike Camp, and now you meet him, right? And
I'm a
now
big manifester. I
yeah,
manifest. I make it happen.
I love it. I love it. So, yeah, there is
It
that
works. It
yeah,
works.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there is this thing there's a good and a bad, but just like anything, it's your ability to control it and or at least understand
Absolutely.
when it's consuming you in a way that isn't conducive to whatever your goals and values are.
So where I'm at now, I was like, man, I want to start a YouTube and do it. And then I was like, I want to, but it's like, do I want to make that more part of my life? And I'm not sure I do. Could I help more people? Maybe, but then I'm taking more away from me and just doing, hey, I'm going on the run. And sometimes I feel like some stuff I want it to be sacred.
Sure.
I want to motivate people, which you'll get it. Or if I post and I feel like it's getting too much, because when you make a certain post, I mean, your DM is full. And sometimes you want to reply that takes so much time and energy. Now you get the negative comments. So sometimes, like this week, I just take like a little break. I don't post on the store. I just don't post anything. Just take a little step back. So I think you have to be in tune with that. And then I'm not no matter how many likes or comments I get, I'm doing the same thing. I'm a creature of habit. So if you like my post or my run, my 5 minute pace, my 10 minute pace, if I do not care. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing the same thing that I did. And then I'm doing it again. If somebody hacks me and I delete the thing, I'm doing it doesn't matter what anybody does, the main thing for me is gonna be the main thing. Um, so that's kinda you have to regulate that. It is a dangerous slippery slope. It could be all consuming with the scrolling, so I try my best. So yeah, you kinda just I mean, but who I mean, it's 2026, social media is what it
Yeah.
is. You should use it because, if like your podcast or you can make money or if you let's say right now with my book, you can be like, "Oh, I don't wanna use social media." Well, then nobody's gonna buy what you're selling.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when some people are like, "Oh, I don't do the social media thing." Well, one, you do because you're always scrolling on it. You might not post, but you're always on it, but don't be mad at us for trying to use it and get ourselves out there and get the
Sure.
story out there. Like, you can't be mad at us. Like, you don't have to do it, but then when we're over here, getting business deals and getting more sales on our books or whatever, be mad at you because you're not using it. So
Yeah, I
everything
think
comes with a price.
that's it. And I think there's a big difference between producing and consuming, right? Like what you're putting
Mhm.
out to. I think the trick for people that are putting things out there, and you've already said that this doesn't affect you, is not letting the engagement one way or the other dictate how you feel about yourself.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
social media, I think can that's where the slippery slope can be. So I know we're getting close here on time, but before we go, let's talk about this book. Why don't you tell me about this book? What's going on with it? Is it out yet? Release dates? What's the deal?
Oh, this writing a book is not for the faint heart. My God. So I'm on my second round of edits. It's really done, but I'm just going through. I want to add some pictures and stuff. So the book, and I haven't announced this yet, but I'll announce. I don't care. So it's called Draw Four. Draw four. You think of cards. You think of Uno. Boom. So really, the premise is draw four, and the subtitle is, stop worrying about your hand, become a better player. Everybody has something. You have whatever with your parents, your kids, your dog, your cat. I have cancer. We all have something. It doesn't matter what you got, become a better player. So adjust to your situation. You can't control the external, but you can adjust. And that's really the framework of the book. I walked through all the way from childhood to becoming the first female sergeant major in the army with a ranger tab. Um, every chapter has a little lesson on the bottom after each chapter, and it really goes through what I want people to see is, people see when I say us, people who you think are successful, they think they just popped out the womb. Just here I am, I'm Ranger Simmons, and it never works like that. The people who are truly successful, there's something there. There's truly something there. My slogan is born average, earned savage. Every single person, I believe, is born average. You popped out the womb and you're just a baby. Now, what you're going to do with your life is up to you. And every day you have to earn that savage. So, what are you going to do to get closer to becoming one who you need to become and successful, quote, whatever that means to you? And that's really what the book is about. That I go from, it's very vulnerable, it's very raw, it's very real, it's my voice. And I just walk the dog and show people, like, hey, this is where I came from. So if I can do it, stop. Like it takes is hard work. I know a lot of people aren't willing to do that. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited to share it. I think it's good. I definitely did my best. It's definitely really hard. But it's gonna be good. So it should be out hopefully. I'm assuming probably April, Mayish. No later
Well,
than June, but April, Mayish.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
I mean,
within the
that's
next few weeks, I'll post like, pre-sales and all those things, but I don't wanna rush anything. So gonna finish it. I still have to do the audio portion and then just pick a good date when I wanna release it. And then it'll be out and I'm very excited for everybody to read it. It's good.
I need it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited
Has
for
all
you.
the answers to the test.
So, and this will be a little teaser. We don't. There's nothing finalized, but just people listening to this.
Yeah.
There has been a conversation that went back and forth between you and I about potentially having you come in and speak for Consequence of Habit, your story,
Mhm.
and I mean, I would love for that to be something you come and we have copies of the book. You talk about the book, kind of your own story, because that's what
Oh,
we
I
also,
would love that. For
yeah,
sure.
that's what we do with Nick too. So, uh, Janina, I just want to say how much I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable,
Of course.
telling your story.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how many people you're going to reach. You already have a fairly big following, but I see that being amplified by quite a bit here in the very near future. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, it's no problem at all. You just let me know whenever you wanna chat it up. I'll come to your conference. That's too easy.
Awesome, awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Huge thanks to Janina for coming on. Um, what a story. Man, I was blown away by this. So, huge thanks to her. Again, if you want to check out that Mastering Habits class, go head on over to consequenceofhabit.org, hit events, and it'll be the first thing you see on there. That's it. I'll catch you guys next month.